Okay, let's see if we can make this one come up a treat. Woo! Okay, whoops, come on, Konica. Oh, fuck this stupid machine. Dear me, Konica. See if we can make this piece of shit do something good with this original, which is also a piece of shit. Okay. Actually, we're going to leave it there. I don't want to make it too texty. No way. Alright, this one's going to be an interesting one. I wonder if we're going to leave it on. We're going to take it off. We're not going to do that. I wonder if maybe we don't use that. We're just going to keep it there. Right, let's see if we can make this look good. Not going all the way with the contrast. Wonder what else we can do to it. The hue, maybe warm it up. Going to make it a warm hue for some reason. We're going that way, and here we're going to lighten it. So let's see if we can make this look really nice. So let's just get through this. Right, see what we've got. What we're going to present to this piece of shit Konica Minolta device. What have we got? We got here real estate, 717 Merlin Street, Neutral Bay. So this is all rich people's shit. These are a couple of real estate goons for your information. So we'll just make this look interesting, hopefully. But basically, yeah, I can't afford this shit. But I live in an area where people are rich. A lot of rich people, a lot of dickheads and bitches who just love money. But I have to live here because I can't afford to run a heater and an air conditioner. And that would be necessary if I was to live in the less affluent areas like the western suburbs, where the temperatures go up really high and go down really low. And I'd probably end up dying, I think, of heat exhaustion if I lived out west. There's just no way I can afford the high cost of electricity. So the stupid companies are just greedy, like pretty much all big corporations, and they just want to bump the prices up for everything you consume, and it's just not acceptable, but it happens. So I've had to prepare myself. This is survival. You can't survive in the western suburbs, if I'm correct, without heating and cooling. So I have to. So by staying here, I basically avoid having to heat and cool my place. And yes, it still is uncomfortable, both in summer and winter, but at least it's not fatal. And also the heat might destroy my equipment if it gets because apparently if the temperatures go above 50 degrees centigrade, you can actually suffer some really nasty illnesses. Like, apparently you can get blood poisoning. So they talk about this in regards to climate change and global warming, how temperatures like that are going to be a reality in the big cities and shit like that, and basically how to keep people cool. And one of the things you can get sick from is it can actually affect your gut, and it can actually cause you to have problems with your gut, and you end up with what's called blood poisoning. So if I was to stay out west, the temperatures would probably inside a house at least exceed 50 degrees, and I'd be a goner or very sick. So I can't afford to heat and cool. I can't afford to cool down the place to keep me safe. So I have to find other alternatives, and that is to live in this area where the temperatures are a whole lot more temperate. And that's how I survive. And it's not desirable, even in relatively temperate climates, to go without heating and cooling. A lot of people appear to be horrified, but that's the fact. I've actually been brought up to live with minimal heating, and I've never had. The only time we had air conditioning was when we were living in Queensland, in Cairns. I've lived in a place that had air conditioning. It was a group home, but it didn't work out very well. I'm not good with being with people very well, but basically I just don't have that kind of money to spend on an air conditioner in the first place. But it's mainly the running costs that are the problem, and I just can't afford to. I just wish electricity would go down. Like, it's just gone up too much. These corporations are just so fucking greedy. It's next thing you know, I'm going to fucking have to turn out the lights if this continues. My bills are always increasing, constantly. Even when I make all sorts of rationing decisions, it just doesn't seem. It just seems to go on and on, up and up. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know who's going to stop these rich profiteers in the electricity industry, but they're fucking assholes that just care about money. And you can see, folks, if you could probably relate to most people, I think, can relate to their bills going up, and you can understand the rich corporations couldn't give a flying fuck about us. I even saw someone buying household candles at a Coles. So someone has been buying candles. They're obviously turning out the lights to save power. But that's fucking dangerous, because candles are a well-known fire hazard. So people are switching off. And who knows what the future holds with these rich profiteering power companies constantly gouging the prices. Who knows? Too many people might switch off, and then the power companies will basically eat themselves, consume themselves, and we'll end up with these companies won't be able to maintain and supply any more electricity. So basically, we could end up, the way the world's going, looks like it's going to go through a downturn. Like, people are so greedy, and basically the greed looks like it's set to consume not just Australia, but the world. And if too many people switch off the power because they can't afford it, and especially if we start off having another recession, or an even worse version of the Great Depression, who knows? All the power companies around the world could gradually go offline, run out of business, and we end up having a world without electricity. Now, fucking rich people, how you live without your power, punks? How are you going to live without your electricity when you fucking consume your own fucking companies? Because people don't have the money to afford these expensive prices, and the world goes into a fucking downturn. So don't underestimate it, folks. This could happen, but people just think for the here and now. They don't think for the future. This is the world as it stands. It's looking pretty grim. You guys may not notice it, but I fucking do. So you got to think for the future, because we may not have the things that we are comfortable with, like electricity. And then how are we going to cook our food without electricity? There's not enough trees to cut down for how many billions of people around the world? So this is going to be survival. So think before. Well, you greedy people not going to listen. You never listen to common sense. You're all just a bunch of dogs and bitches and assholes. Brainless fools that care only about money. Is this the world you want, bitches? You couldn't give a fuck. Go away, rich punks. Go eat yourselves. Go get stuffed. Time to go.